You're listening to Lions After Dark on 88.9. Tonight, we have a special segment for you, a debate involving the king of pop. Our debaters tonight will be our very own Kelly Fulton and one of our sport resident experts, Jeff Amos. Both are self-proclaimed fans of Michael Jackson, but they both disagree on which of his albums is the greatest of all his work. Now, let's not waste any more time and get right into it. This is the Lion Debate.
Hey there, I will be arguing in defense of Michael Jackson's Bad album from 1987.
I'll be arguing in defense of Michael Jackson's album Thriller, released in 1982.
Okay, well, let's try not to get this too heated, but let's just start with your first points you've got, guys.
Well, to me, Thriller is an album that revolutionized pop music, and everyone likes to say, oh, well, Bad had 5 number 1 hits, but without Thriller, there'd be no Bad album. And when you have songs like Billie Jean, Beat It, Wanna Be Starting Something, and PYT, and obviously Thriller, those are just revolutionary hits of the 1980s and really in pop music. And I think most people would remember those songs as opposed to, say, songs off the Bad album, which were number 1 hits and were relevant at the time. I think the songs off of the Thriller album have much more impact on pop music today than the songs off the Bad album.
Now, I disagree with a lot of stuff. I actually do agree with you in a lot of things. For example, I agree that Thriller absolutely revolutionized what pop music is today. Bad perfected it. Bad is Michael Jackson's magnum opus. He had so much more creative freedom when producing this album. The production is tighter. Every song just sounds better. And while I'll admit his more iconic songs are on the Thriller album, his best work is on the Bad album. And besides, you can't ignore such classic iconic hits as Bad, of course, The Way You Make Me Feel, Man in the Mirror, Dirty Diana, and of course Smooth Criminal, which in my opinion that's my favorite song by Michael Jackson altogether. And his best music video, yes, better than Thriller.
Right. I mean, we could argue about choreography in certain music videos and whatnot, but people say, oh, Bad is better than Thriller, but they never really give any backing as to why it is better than Thriller. And I feel like I'm getting the same response from you. You're saying that Bad is better than Thriller. Oh, because the music is better. But how is the music better?
The music is better because, and I said this before, the production is just better. It's tighter. It sounds better. Michael Jackson had so much more freedom when creating this album. He produced 9 of the 11 songs in partnership with Quincy Jones. It was their last partnership, as a matter of fact. But like the songs are more him. For example, like not everybody loved Leave Me Alone, but it was a song that was genuinely Michael, and he wrote it to express how he felt. And this was just a very raw and personal album. It's more Michael, and the other stuff like Thriller, as obviously Michael had a huge hand in creating that, but also there's a whole bunch of producers getting in the way. So I think the album Bad is better because Michael had more of a hand in creating it, and it's more of the Michael Jackson sound we've come to be very nostalgic for.
See, that's why I disagree. I think when you look at the nostalgia factor for Michael Jackson, when everyone thinks about historical Michael Jackson songs, they don't think of Bad or Man in the Mirror first. They think of Just Beat It, Billie Jean, and PYT.
Well, that's a subjective thing because it depends on every person who does love Michael Jackson. Everybody's favorite song is going to be different. So maybe somebody else's, the first song they think of is Man in the Mirror. Somebody else's might be Thriller. So somebody else's might be The Way You Make Me Feel.
Right. And I just think that the Bad album was successful due to the fact that Thriller was so successful. Not to take away from Michael Jackson. Bad is a fantastic album, one of the best albums of the 80s. But when you compare it to Thriller, to me, Thriller is much better due to the fact how it revolutionized pop music today. And I don't think, and maybe from a creative standpoint for Michael Jackson, he probably felt more satisfied with the Bad album. But to me, I just think that the Thriller album had much more of an impact on pop music as we know today.
While I could sit here, I've sat here and I feel like I made some really great points. Ultimately, I think I can just crush your argument with the fact that he set a landslide record with this album. 5 number 1 singles. That is the sign of a great album, not just individual songs all together. Everybody loved it. There's no filler on this album. They're all great songs and everybody loves them. And he's the only man in history to have ever done that. And not until 2011 did somebody else even do that with Katy Perry's album Teenage Dream.
And that concludes our debate for tonight. If you have an opinion on which album of Michael Jackson's is better, go on over to our Facebook page at Lions After Dark Radio or our Twitter page at Lions After Dark 2 and weigh in.